Hello and welcome back. In today's lecture, we will talk about the economic environment of India post independence up to 1991 and what happened after 1991. In this topic, we will be broadly covering the three main aspects, which are globalization, liberalization, and privatization. In 1991, these three key reforms that happened, which totally turned around the economic situation in India. But first, let us understand how the situation was pre 1991. After independence, India adopted socialistic type of economy, which means India wanted the government to control pretty much every commerce activity in India. The government decided to interfere in everything, including import, export, production, sales. Pretty much you name everything, the government wanted that to do it, which means the extent of private players were very limited, and government said that if at all there has to be some private player that should start a business or wants to get into business, that private party should get a license from the government. So that is what it is called, a license Raj. It used to be, in a funny way, it used to be called as license Raj, because whatever the business that you think in modern day that you can easily start, older days it was not that easy to start. You have to get a license from the government, and government will be monitoring you. For example, today you want to manufacture sugar. Today you can manufacture a sugar, set up a factory, and you can start a business on your own, and you can make your business plan pretty much the way you want. But pre 1991, that is 50s, 60s, 70s, it was not like that. If you are interested in business and you want to manufacture sugar, first you have to get the license and permit from the government, and only then you can even think about setting up a factory. Government will also decide how much you should produce, how much you should sell, almost to the extent at what price you should sell. Which means you are namesake a businessman, but government will tell pretty much everything to what you have to do. Now, I will just give you a cross reference. This is a site called indiabefore91.in. You can see key features of License Raj. Licenses were required for starting new companies, for producing new products and expanding production capacities. Businesses had to take government approval for laying off workers. So it's not just that you just can get the license one time and you can start the business and then you can go doing what you want to do. It was not like that. Let's say the business is not running well and you have to lay off a few workers and send them home. In modern day, the private companies don't have to ask anybody. They just have to issue an announcement and that's it. The employees have to go home. But during this license Raj era, you cannot even lay off workers on your own. Again, you have to seek government's approval for it. And then the import duties for cars were around 125%. So to put it in perspective, let's say you want to import a foreign car, the price of that car is 10 lakhs. Then by the time you import it, you have to pay 12.5 lakhs as duty to the government. Then how much is it your landed cost? 10 lakhs the original price, 12.5 lakhs the duty itself came. So you have to totally pay 22.5 lakhs as the price of the car by the time you get it into your hands. So that's how costly the import tariffs were. Because of all these strict regulations and everything, what was the impact? You see the GDP growth rate from 1960 to 1980, India had the lowest in this South Asian countries. You can see 3.5% India had, but you see South Korea 8.8, Taiwan 9.6, Singapore 9.2, even Pakistan had a better GDP growth than India between this period of 1960 to 1980. So the bottom line is India had adopted a socialistic type of economy, and because of that it did not work. The trade deficit became huge and the government almost became bankrupt. The another problem of this type of economic policy is that it created a lot of monopoly. You all know by now what is monopoly. Monopoly is that in a given sector, there is only one company playing that game. So there are no competitors at all. What is the example of monopoly in today's scenario? Take railways, for example. In India, still railways is governed only by Indian Railways. There are no competitors, there are no private players, which means whatever Indian Railway thinks it can do. Imagine in today's scenario, only one Indian Railway is the noticeable monopoly. But 30-40 years back, every sector had a monopoly. So let's say bank, there will be a monopoly. Let's say insurance, there will be a monopoly company. Let's say a TV, there will be a monopoly company. So there are hardly any choices, and even whatever the choices that we had only one player doing that. So pretty much whatever that player thinks, that is the rule of the land. Okay, so these are all the problems. And also let's think it in this way. If you have competition, you will have that fire to work hard, isn't it? You have to run, because if you sleep and if you behave complacent, your competitor will get the market share, you will lose the business. But what if you are the only player in the town? Then you don't have the fear of competition. Then what will happen? Then I know anyway I'm going to come first. If I play to my best or if I don't play to my best, there is nobody who is going to beat me. There is nobody who is going to threaten my position. So why do I even have to sweat that much? The companies and organizations who were monopoly at that time became complacent because of lack of competition. Then what happened? As I said, it led to huge trade deficit and the government almost became bankrupt. So the people woke up and decided whatever that we have been following from independence until now is not working. Let us go towards a free market society. So India reduced all its socialistic preferences and started to move towards capitalist type of economy. To execute this plan, India took three big decisions, which are to liberalize the country, to privatize the economy, and then to globalize the economy. First thing is, what is liberalization? To liberate industries from the shackles of licensing system. The government decided that I'm not going to poke my nose into your system. You want to start a business? Start a business. Government kept a select sectors, 15 to 16 sectors, which are extremely crucial, like defense, railways, national safety, all those things like building airports, public projects. Government decided that, okay, these things you still have to get license, but other things like, let's say you want to manufacture sugar, let's say you want to make soap, let's say you want to make cosmetics, okay, go ahead, do. So that is the liberalization aspect. So government decided to reduce the requirement of licenses to start a business. So now starting a business became easy. Many people will come forward to start a business. So that was the first point, liberalization, just to increase the ease of doing business. The second point is privatization. Again, reduce the role of public sector companies in the economy, reduce the role of government companies in the economy. I will just give you some examples. Back in the day, if you have to talk through telephone, BSNL was the only company that was there. Now, after privatization, we have lots of private brands, isn't it? You have Airtel, there was a company called Aircel, then there was this company called Docomo, then Vodafone, you had Idea, all these companies. Today, the telecom sector has fallen into three players, Airtel, Jio, and Vodafone Idea, VI. Still, which means government is not controlling the telecom market. Telecom market is almost controlled 90-95% by the private parties. So that's the first example. Then you see public broadcasting, TV. I remember growing up in the 90s, we had only Doordarshan. So Doordarshan was a government channel. That was the only option that you have. If you have to watch only Doordarshan. Similarly, radio. We had All India Radio, Vividh Bharati. That's it. That's the only option. If you have to listen to radio, only All India Radio. Then what happened? Privatization happened. Star Network, Sony Network, the Z Network, those parties came into picture. So you had channels like Star Sports, Star Plus, Sony, Setmax, all those channels. And then in radio, you started to have lots of FM radios like Radio 1, Radio Mirchi, Fever, Red, Big. All these private radio stations came into picture. Then again, aviation. Two aircrafts used to be there, Air India and Indian Airlines. Air India used to go for abroad and Indian Airlines is for all the domestic flights. Then again, what happened after privatization? Jet Airways, Indigo, Kingfisher, SpiceJet, Go Air, Vistara, all these private names you get to see after this privatization. Again, banking, we had only traditional nationalized bank, State Bank, Punjab National Bank, very nationalized, almost government controlled it entirely. Now you have a lot of privatized bank like Barclays, Standard Chartered, and also you have banks like City Union Bank, HDFC, lots of privatized, HSBC, private banks are there, Kotak Mahindra. Again, if you take insurance, back in the day you had only LIC and GIC. Now you have lot of private players like Bajaj, Allianz, Star Health, Tata AIG, ACO, and then you have ICICI, Lombard. All these different private companies that are available, we can avail their services. And lastly, the globalization aspect. Globalization is about wanting a lot of effective foreign companies to make their investment in India. India lacked technology, India lacked innovation. So India wanted to improvise their automobile production, ramp up their automobile production, even in electronics and consumer goods and home appliances. India decided we lacked the technology, therefore let us invite the foreign participants to set up shop here. With the help of their R&D, we can increase our circulation of these goods inside the country. So companies like Honda, Suzuki, Cognizant is a tech-based company. Then you have Hyundai, and then you have Samsung. Samsung, they started with home appliances, TV, fridge and everything. Now Samsung primarily has become a smartphone based company. And then we also know a company called Sansui, which is a TV company from Japan. And then Sony, we know, again it's a Japanese company, Panasonic. So there are countless examples that we can see the names of foreign players coming into India. Some more names that are coming to my mind: McDonald's, Subway, Pizza Hut, Domino's. These are all again foreign brands, but they have set up their shop in India. So that is globalization. And globalization also was aimed to increase the volume of imports and exports that are done from our country. So these three measures, liberalization, privatization and globalization, completely changed the way, the trajectory of Indian economy, which was lagging and which was almost bankrupt, to become the fourth largest economy in the world. So I hope you understood this entire concept of economic environment in India and also the previous lectures like the dimensions of environment. With this, we are concluding the third chapter, business environment. From tomorrow, we will be seeing the fourth chapter, which is planning. I will see you in the tomorrow's lecture. Thank you and bye-bye.